Today we have someone who started out at a farmer's market in Bandra with 2 tables and a cloth banner, but today has built the organization TBOF, okay, and that's Two Brothers Organic Farms, an organization that is actually going to be now, okay, crushing their numbers on the financial side and even aspires to become a listed company on, lo and behold, the NYSE. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Satyajit Hange. Satyajit, welcome to Let's Chat with
Thank you,
GB.
Gaurav. Thank you for calling me over. Pleasure to be talking to you on a Saturday.
Yes. And you're flying back to Maharashtra. I just flew in from Maharashtra. So
Yes.
that is a coincidence. And it's great to have you here. And congratulations on the amazing work that you've been doing over the years. And it's just inspirational. And I'm sure audience is going to love what we have to speak about today as
Thank
well.
you. I've just been having fun on the farm.
Yeah. So tell us about, the farm first. And of course, we'll go into the backstory and the journey. But tell us about this amazing, institution that you've built about 150 kms away from Pune. So tell us about the farm. Tell us more about, what's really happening there. And of course, we'll keep jumping back and forth into the conversation.
Awesome. So, Gaurav, I come from a small village called Bohdani, which is on the outskirts of Pune. It's a 150-kilometer drive south of Pune. And my parents are farmers. So, this small village, we were born out there. But I think back in the day, they thought that farming has no future left, both socially and economically.
Yeah.
And they put us in a boarding school in Pune. So both me and my brother Ajinkya, we went to a boarding school. From KG to PG, we were in a boarding hostel and spent our life in the city.
Wow.
And then I think we got doing jobs. I was working with Citibank and he was
Right.
working with HSBC.
Right.
So we tick those, expectations that parents have, especially a farmer parent would have for a child, that go out and do something in the city, and we did that. But after doing a job for 4 years, we started reflecting whether we enjoying and liking what we were doing, because every summer and Diwali holiday we spend time on the farm.
Right.
And the farm, it's a nice stone wood house that we have built 100 years back called a vada.
Okay.
And outside the vada, there were buffaloes and cows and bulls when I was growing up. So my summer holiday was spent, being amongst them, washing them, seeing how they go grazing, being in the farm. And after doing a job for 4 years, when we understood the concept that you have only one life to live, and that hit us, we realized that we were not loving what we were doing. And both of us then reflected and figured out that we love farming and spending time in the village where the life is slightly slower paced. People have more time to sit and talk with you.
Right.
It's not a very competitive chat that you have with people. And that, got us back to doing farming in this small village around 10 years back.
Right. Amazing. And what was it like? Of course, you went to school, which is the Bishops, in Pune, also a boarding school, which, similar to my school, is almost, now 175, 180 years old. What was it like when you first got to that particular school, based on the background, living on a farm and then coming into an institution like that? What was it like in the early days for you?
So, it was a Anglo-Indian boarding school that's established 180 years back.
Right.
The Bishop School.
Right.
And very few farmers' kids went to that school.
Right.
So we could be identified very clearly. The teachers you see, these are farmers' children, and they're more active on the field
Right.
than in the classroom.
Yeah.
And we had close to, I think, 18, 20 co-curricular activities.
Right.
In a boarding school, games is priority. And we ran and we did long jumps and boxing. Ajinkya was the best boxer in school for 8 years.
Fantastic.
He even went on to become the head boy in school.
Lovely.
I was a long distance runner when I was in school and a good footballer. And a lot of time was spent out there and amongst, students who came across India and some even came across the world.
Yeah.
So we got to understand their backgrounds and we got to understand people who came from a business, from a service background.
Right.
And that widened our horizon of life and living. Yeah. And I think that formed a very strong basis, a very strong fundamental of whom we are today. And it's helped us form this business, which now caters to consumers across the world. So I credit a lot to my boarding days, even more than my MBA and studying in university. I think 80% of the education I picked up was in boarding school.
Oh, I would so agree. I mean, can
And
totally
I'm
relate.
happy that
Totally
you're a
relate,
boarder
yeah.
because
Yeah.
I feel a very strong bonding with people who have spent time in boarding. Because for me, my friend was like a brother. I spent more time with them. I mean, you can relate to it than with parents and then with real siblings back home.
Of course. In fact, the other day our school had a reunion, and the press was there because it was like a big event that they'd planned, and the topic of AI popped up. And one of the journalists asked me a question, and they're like, what are your thoughts on AI? And I'm like, in our school we've been doing AI for 100 years. And she looked at me and she's like, it doesn't make sense. How could you be doing AI for 100 years? AI is not even that old a phenomena. I said, "Aap samjhe nahi." I said, AI means adapted intelligence. I said, well, that's what we were taught in boarding school. You always have to adapt to the situation that's really going to pop up, and that truly is my belief. So yeah, I think the survival skills, the innovation, thinking on your feet, problem solving, right? These are core things learned over there for sure.
And doing it yourself. There is no parent to help you. There is no somebody else to help you. You fight your own battles. And at a very early age, you learn to fight your own battles, to make friends and depend on them. And I mean, it's amazing. It's difficult when you're in the boarding school. I felt, literally very bad when I was studying out there. I was like, why am I not on the farm with my parents?
Right.
But looking back, I think that's a blessing in disguise.
And how many years between Ajinkya and you?
4 years difference.
Mm-hmm. Did you both join around the same time?
No, so I was the elder one, so I joined in lower KG, and after 4 years, he followed and he joined.
Right.
I'm sure you love this particular clip. If you want to watch the full episode, click on the link below and watch the whole episode.